One of the major controversies or issues that couples will always experience in marriages is money matters. If we were to table all the issues we've had, money has been the most frequent. And also, over the years, counseling couples, we realize that still money.
One of the mistakes that couples tend to make in marriage when it comes to money is not understanding their own financial blueprints and that of their spouse. Because you don't understand this, you wonder why both of you are having those issues and those challenges. But when you understand that this is my mindset about money, and it was as a result of my conditioning, subconscious conditioning growing up, same with your partner, both of you are able to sit down and work on the areas you need to work on in order to build a fresh mental model for your family that will serve you.
I didn't even know about money blueprint until some years into our marriage. Now, when I began to understand money blueprint, I now understood why it seemed like I would have money in a particular season. In a particular season, I'll be broke. So some season I will have money, some season. And when I began to trace it back, I realized that was the same blueprint my father had. And as I understood it, I began to realize, I have to create a new money blueprint.
I realized that whenever I saw any book or any podcast or anything on money, I'm turned off.
You're not saving. It's not really because you don't have the money or the income. It's because of you've lacked the discipline. So for example, somebody says that they want to jackpot, for example, and they want to sell a car. I know that the car is worth maybe 10 million naira, but because these people, they need money urgently, and because of relationships, they're saying that if you have 5 million naira, I'm going to give you away this car right now. I just know the way they use the car. You know that, man, this car is really good. It's a good deal. But you don't have the money, and you're like, hey. That's when you now realize that
we have to always tell ourselves there's a devil, there's an active devil that wants to take advantage of us. So we don't want to open the door. So don't allow conflict to fester. Don't allow disagreements to fester. Learn to deal with issues when they happen. You might not immediately attend to it, but deal with it. Don't let it linger on so that your finances won't suffer for it.
Any expenses like your rent or your school fees and everything, that when the bill is coming, is giving you palpitation, your blood pressure is increasing, is meaning that you shouldn't have gone for it in the first place. You may be able to afford it, but does not mean that is the level you ought to operate. That was the mistake we made. We could afford the house, we could pay the rent now, at least we didn't borrow. But we realized that yes, that you could pay it now does not mean it's your level. So anything that will give you heart attack palpitation is not your own.
It's very key, so you don't cry premium tears later.
Hey, welcome to another episode, and today we're going to be talking about something very important, and it's money matters. We realize that in marriages today, and even it has always been, one of the major controversies or issues that couples will always experience in marriages is money matters. Growing up, I saw my parents quarrel a lot, talk about money, fight a lot about money matters. I'm talking about over the 20, 30, 40 years my parents were married. The same thing with our own marriage. In this first 10 years of marriage, I realized that if we were to table all the issues we've had, money has been the most frequent. And also, over the years, counseling couples, we realize that still money. So today, I want to talk about money mistakes that couples make. And if you're a single person, it's even good that you're watching this video, because tendencies that you're already making that mistake or some of these mistakes. And if you can identify this mistake now and work on them, when you're going into marriage, you are better prepared not to even make those mistakes. You can discuss with your partner that, okay, these are the mistakes I used to make, or these are the mistakes I want us to prevent from making, and you are better equipped and better prepared. And that is what we are talking about today. So I want to say welcome to this marriage thing with the Daniels. We are professional marriage therapists, counselors. We do this because we love to see marriages thrive. So if today is your first time, I want to say you're welcome. And for all our subscribers, I want to say thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being part of this community, and we'll give this to you also. Then for our new subscribers, you see the button there showing subscribe. Please subscribe. We'd love you to be part of this community. We'd love you to click the notification icon so that every time we do any new video, you will be able to get a notification, and also drop your comment. Please, in fact, this is what I would love everyone to do at this point. Just tell us something that you loved in any of our previous videos. If you've watched any of our previous videos, just type it. Just, okay, I love this particular video. I love what you said in this place. Or if you've not watched anyone, just say, I've not watched anyone. Or you just want to say, thank you for doing what we're doing. We want to see those engagement. Please drop it in a comment right now. Please do this, huh? You see, they look me. Right, type now, type. They're not going to take anything. Even if you just say thank you for doing this, please do. We really love to see those engagements. And also, it even helps the algorithm to show more people, because we believe that more people need to see this so marriages can thrive. So let's go into the mistakes. What was the first mistake you would like to tell couples that they make?
All right. So one of the mistakes that couples tend to make in marriage when it comes to money is not understanding their own financial blueprint and that of their spouse. So what exactly are we even talking about when we say financial blueprint? We're talking about the mental model that a person has about money, their attitude towards money, the mindset, their belief system about money. So people have certain ways they react to money. So someone, for instance, who grew up in a family where he or she saw his parents, maybe let's even say maybe the wife, you grew up in a family where you saw your parents, they were great investors, they knew how to save. By the time you were a particular age, maybe by the time you were done with secondary school, your parents already had investments in several places and all of that. And of course, your father was intentional with teaching you financial literacy and all that. That they were doing to that you experienced was actually creating a mindset. So by the time you're of age, you grow older, maybe you're now independent, but on your own, there's a way you respond to money issues. So someone like you, with investment is not going to be a new thing. You're going to find yourself wanting to invest. You're going to find yourself wanting to save a lot more. You're going to find yourself maybe even at an early age, you're buying your own property. And let's not say, for instance, you're married to a husband who grew up in a family where as money is coming, is going. As it's coming, is going. And the moment money is gone, the father is already angry. Everywhere is tense. You are being educated. By the time you're of age, you'll find yourself probably also responding to money that way. The moment your account balance is reading minus, you're already getting agitated. So the point is that sometimes, because you don't understand this, you wonder why both of you are having those issues and those challenges. But when you understand that this is my mindset about money, and it was as a result of my conditioning, subconscious conditioning growing up. Same with your partner. Both of you are able to sit down and work on the areas you need to work on in order to build a fresh mental model for your family that will serve you. All right. So you don't have to stay in that place where, okay, this is what I've seen about money, so this is who I am. Sometimes people say this is who I am. I can't change myself. You can change your mindset. You can change your belief system. Even if you never saw your parents saving, even if till your parents died, they never invested in anything, they didn't leave any property, you can start that afresh by just changing your mindset. So that is what money mistake I've seen.
Very, very true.
Marriages.
Very, very true. So the second money mistake is refusing to prioritize financial education and personal growth. You see, when she talked about money blueprint, I didn't even know about money blueprint until some years into our marriage. Now, when I began to understand money blueprint, I now understood why it seemed like I would have money in a particular season. In a particular season, I'll be broke. So some season I'll have money, some season. And when I began to trace it back, I realized that was the same blueprint my father had. So my father used to be a car dealer. I used to sell cars. So when my father sells a car, there'll be good profits. At least good money will come. We'll restock the house and everything. Then he will take most of the capital back, go buy another car. And when he buys another car, sometimes you wait for like weeks, months before that car is being sold. And sometimes before you know, the whole money has gotten out. And my father is cranky. He comes home, he's angry unnecessarily. He doesn't smile at all. Before you know, he's talking about outchores, beating at everybody. Then next thing he will sell the car again. There's money again. We'll restock and everything. So we're always going up and down. Then me and I got married and I got into photography. The same thing. I will get a good job. They'll pay me good money. There'll be money. Everybody will buy things that everybody's happy. But after a while, the money goes. I'm waiting for the next job again that will come. And I didn't understand that it was a blueprint of my father that I had carried. Because I didn't see my father save, and he didn't talk to me about saving, investment, and all this kind of stuff. It was the same thing. But you see, when I began to understand by prioritizing financial education and development and my own personal development, I began to understand this thing. And as I understood it, I began to realize, I have to create a new money blueprint. I also could understand our own money blueprint, why she was thinking the way she was thinking, when she would tell me, let's save and all the other stuff. And we're now able to work together and say, okay, this is now the family model we want to create for our family so that our children can have a different money blueprint from the ones we brought in. So that mistake of not prioritizing financial education is one mistake a lot of couples are making today and will still make if they are not careful.
And just to buttress what he said, also this lack of financial education is very important, because if, for instance, so for me, right, because of the way I lived my life, I was really into ministry work and all of that. So what happened was, based on my own understanding of ministry work, I didn't prioritize financial education. In fact, I realized that whenever I saw any book or any podcast or anything on money, I'm turned off. Like, I always have this mindset, like, it's not for me. I always tilted more towards more spiritual materials, and there is nothing wrong with that. But what it was doing was that, even though I was doing so well in ministry, but my finances were suffering, seriously suffering. And the truth of the matter is that until I worked on that particular aspect, I really had to come to a point where I told myself, and I think we've shared this in one of our videos, I had to tell myself that, for me, you know what? Thank God for the grace to do ministry work and all of that. But God also wants you prosperous. The Bible says in 3 John verse 1, it said, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as you're so prosperous. So I knew that for me to experience the kind of prosperity I needed, my mindset needed to shift. So I had to start paying attention to materials, to resources. I began to read books on finances. I began to enjoy listening to podcasts on finances, and God being so good, I stumbled on a wonderful teacher when it comes to money, Myron Golden. It changed my mindset completely, and from there I moved on to Dave Ramsey, and so it was just like boom. Then I read this book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and my mind was just shifting to the point where I became comfortable. I got to the point where I was like, yes, for me, now you are learning financial literacy. And it began to impact on our marriage. It began to impact on my earnings. It began to impact on our peace and harmony in the home. So this thing is very important, because sometimes you might just think that it is not a big deal, but it really is a big deal. And this leads me to the very next money mistake couples make, which is also like a Siamese twins to what we just said, and that is not having multiple streams of income. Now, this is very key, because even me, I was that one-way traffic person. I wasn't big. I'm not your typical, I see a business opportunity and I jump. That's not the way I was raised, all right? I'm the paycheck to paycheck person. Like, I'm just, because I believe in contentment. I'm a very content person. I don't covet what is not mine. And my husband knows that about me. He has, in 10 years of marriage, he has not seen me like, now, wow, this person has this, person has that, I want it. I'm not that kind of person. I'm very content. But guess what? The flip side of it was that I was stuck with just what I was earning. And when I began to educate myself financially, I realized that, look, for me, you need multiple streams of income. And that's what opened me up to other things I feel I could do that will earn. Things that normally I wouldn't have even monetized. Things that I would have just, done for free. I began to look at it as value being rendered, and God being so good. I was not surrounded with people that were even like rooting for those things. And like, for me, this is something that can really bring you money. And before I knew it, I'm having inflow, just doing something that I've always done, inflow. So, and before I knew, we began to have multiple streams of income. And he himself, he didn't stay with his photography. He began to do other things and all of that. In fact, he has always even been like that. Once an opportunity comes, in fact, my issue with him is that at least sometimes calm down, evaluate. Once his opportunity for money, he jumps at it and all that. And that has helped us, because when we talk about how we were able to break out of not enough into more than enough, this is what we did. We began to have other means, streams of income. We didn't just stay with what we were earning. We didn't just stay with paycheck to paycheck. So this is also one money mistake that I have seen that affects marriages.
Very true, very true. So the next money mistake that couples make is lack of mentorship and apprenticeship. and also starting small. You see, it's easier when you have somebody that has gone through what you're going through and has gotten good result, looking at your own peculiar situation and telling you, the way you are going, I think you need to make this adjustment and everything. It guides you. When you look at the Igbo community in Nigeria, you realize that they are one of the most successful people because of this apprenticeship, where somebody is given as an apprentice to a master, and he works with the master maybe for like 7 years, and all through that 7 years is learning everything about the business. Now when he starts, he's not just starting from ground zero, he's starting from the shoulder of that mentor, and that apprenticeship has helped that the Igbo community. And the same thing, you should have a family or a couple or somebody that is helping you, guiding you, asking you questions. Okay, what's you guys earning income like at this moment? What's your saving like? What's this? What like? If you don't have one, feel free to look for one. You can reach out to us if you need one, but you need it. You need it. The Bible says that he that walks with the wise will be wise. The company of fools will destroy them. And it's very true. I will tell you that. When I needed to move to a certain level in terms of finances, I had to start walking and hanging around certain people. Sometimes it might not be this is my mentor and everything. Sometimes it's just hanging around wise people, hanging around people that are doing better. And after a while, you begin to see the way they think. You begin to see the way they negotiate. You begin to see the kind of things they read. You begin to see the kind of information they are exposed to. You see the kind of community, the places they hang out. And before you know, it changes your mindset. So it's very key. Then the other one I mentioned also is not willing to start small. A lot of times, we feel like, no time, I beg. If I start this, how will I grow? You see, there's nothing big today that didn't start small. There's nothing big today that didn't start small. Yes, you might say, but I don't have time again. That's what you said some years ago. Why don't you just start small now?
Yeah. And also why this is very important is because sometimes, as you know, marriages are different.
Yeah.
Let me even say this. Let me put this out there. Marriages are different. There are some people that when they started off their married life, they started big. Things happened, in 1 year, maybe they've bought their house or they've built their house. It's possible. It's very possible. And I've seen such, there are people like that, and you are starting now your married life, and that is not the case, and you're feeling like there's something wrong. I've had moments when I've had to tell couples in sessions that there's nothing wrong with your marriage. The only reason you feel there's something wrong is because you're refusing to see your starting small as the fact that I am just starting. We are on a journey. I said, as long as you do, there's something my pastor used to tell me that like years ago. He said, as long as you don't get off the vehicle, you will get to your destination. Yeah. As long as you don't stop doing what needs to be done, you will get to your destination. So the reason why this is important is because appreciate where you are as long as you're on the journey towards where you are headed. And also this leads to another money mistake, which is one of the things that causes problems. No savings or investment culture. So, and you say this because my earnings are small. Now, I've always been big on savings. I've always believed that even if you earn very little, save from it. Yeah. Have a percentage you set aside. That's one culture I had built even from when I was single. And so for me, it's important that you save. Don't spend it all. The truth is that money that you are looking at small, you'll be shocked. If you really begin to save, you'll be shocked what you would have saved over time. And not just saving alone, invest it. Sometimes people are waiting for the big investment opportunities, like, let me buy a land somewhere. Let me let me buy shares. But you can start small as just with 5,000 naira mutual funds. You start treasury bills. There are things you can, as long as that money is kept away from you and is kept somewhere that is working for you, and even as simple as piggy vest, you get a percentage interest. So learn to save as a family. It's very it's very key. So you don't cry premium tears later when you need money for something major. It doesn't have to be something bad. It might just be an opportunity that comes your way, but you have nothing. You have nothing. So don't look at it. What do I want to say from 50,000 naira? What would 50,000 naira do? Or maybe what would 100 pounds do? What would 1,000 pounds do with all the bills? Or what would $1,000 do? We have so much bills on ground. I know you have bills, but even with those bills, set aside something. Even if it's a 10% of that income, set it aside. Save. But don't just keep it in your bank account. Invest it somewhere. You'll be shocked after a year what you will have. And the thing about savings also, and I learned this from Pastor Sam Adeyemi, he said one of the reasons why sometimes people feel poor is not just the fact that their earning capacity is low. It's also because when they look into their savings, they have nothing.
Yeah.
He said, but when you save, and you're maybe there's no inflow, but you just check your savings account or your investment and you see something, it elevates your spirit, it lightens you up. You realize that bad reach that level. So when he said it, that thing also woke me up. You understand? So save, keep something aside. Don't make that mistake of eating everything that comes into your hands.
Very true. Before now, I used to save. I used to save at a point in life. Then when I got married, I stopped saving and the rest. I used to say that my income is never enough. There's always bills. And in case you're saying that, I want to say to you that you were surviving before the income even increased to that level. So meaning that if you take 10%, 20% or so to set aside, you won't die. Try it. I tell you, you won't die. And also realize that you're not saving. It's not really because you don't have the money or the income. It's because of you lack the discipline to save. Start saving. I tell you, to change a whole lot. When we took saving more seriously, recently I was asking my wife how much she had in her savings. I was shocked when she told me the amount, and I say, so this man, I don't gather this money, I don't know, and the rest. You see, it's good when you look back and tell yourself, thank God we have some savings there. When opportunity comes, you will immediately grab them, which leads me to my next mistake that couples make in marriage. It is passing over opportunities repeatedly. The acronym is POOR, P-O-O-R. Passing over opportunities repeatedly. You see, when you don't save, you don't even have opportunity to even take advantage of opportunity. So, for example, somebody says that they want to jackpot, for example, and they want to sell a car. I know that the car is worth maybe 10 million naira, but because these people, they need money urgently, and because of relationships, they're saying that if you have 5 million, I'm going to give away this car right now. And you know the way they use the car. You know that, man, this car is really good. It's a good deal. But you don't have the money. And you're like, hey, that's when you now realize that, if I had been saving, I would have just bought the car. But you might not even need a car. You can buy it and sell it and put it up online and say this car. Now, the advantage you have is that you are not pressured for time to sell. They are pressured for time. They need to jackpot. They need all the money they can get immediately. But you are not pressured for time. So you can keep the car and be looking for good bargains to sell the car. And that car alone, you can make as much as 2-3 million naira just from that car. But you see, when you are not prepared, you keep passing over opportunities. Another reason why people pass over opportunities is that they feel like, now is not the best time, not the best time, not the best time. Or they feel like, this opportunity, they don't even see it as an opportunity. You see, one of the prayers I need to pray that God, I beg, open my eyes to see opportunities when others are not seeing opportunities. Because when you see it and you take advantage of it, you'll be amazed the way your finances will grow. Some of the people you see today that are doing well, it's not because they are smarter than you or better than you or they had one inheritance. It was because they took advantage of one opportunity. So I was listening to somebody yesterday, and the person was talking about this company, I think it's called 𝐬𝐿 or something like that, this power company that's they're into supplying power in Nigeria here. He said when they sold their shares, I'm not sure if I'm sure, maybe like in 2020 or so, that the shares was going for, I think, 100 naira per unit. That right now is going for over 1,000 or something. I'm not sure of the details, but I know that it was very low at the time and now. And people that bought it at that time, they are making so much today. I think he said it was 100 naira. I think he said when he bought his own, it was 300 naira. And now it's worth it. Now imagine if you bought 1 million shares. Okay, 1 million shares might be too much. Let's say you bought shares of 5 million naira at 100 naira. Do the math. I imagine what you will be earning today. Imagine what you'll be earning today. And when he said it, I said, more people grabbed opportunity. And he was talking about another opportunity today of a particular company that he was referring that their stock is going for, is it 2 naira or 200 naira? Something very low. And he was saying that it's just a matter of time. The value of that stock was going to go high. And that's an opportunity. And when I was watching it, immediately I was already thinking, okay, you must take advantage of this opportunity. So one of the mistakes people make is passing over opportunities repeatedly. Don't let that mistake be yours.
The other money mistake that couples make is unresolved marital issues. So sometimes you're not being in happy terms with your spouse, and you have these lingering issues going on. You're giving yourself cold shoulders. You're not working as a team. It's having a boomerang effect on your finances, because In marriage, one of the greatest gifts you have in your spouse is the power of partnership and collaboration. So you were earning a particular amount, but now you are with someone who is also earning a certain amount. Both of you, when you bring your resources together, you can do more together. That is why the Bible says that two are better than one, and they will have a better reward. They have a better reward because they collaborate, because they work together as a team. So when you have unresolved issues, when I say unresolved issues, I'm not just talking about maybe we're not happy with each other today, but we'll smile again later. No, I'm talking about issues where you both are giving yourself serious cold shoulders, not talking, is causing a rift between both of you, and you are not intentional to resolve it. You're not going for counseling, you're not seeking help to resolve those issues. It's gonna have a boomerang effect on your finances, and that is one area. A lot of people don't know this. Even from a very spiritual point of view, when you are at peace as a couple, it opens you both up to blessings. That's the truth. When you're at peace, we learned this. Thank God we learned this early. So we made certain decisions as a couple. Not like we've not had moments of unhappiness and stuff, but we have to like always tell ourselves there's a devil, there's an active devil that wants to take advantage of us. So we don't want to open the door. So don't allow conflict to fester. Don't allow disagreements to fester. Learn to deal with issues when they happen. You might not immediately attend to it, but deal with it. Don't let it linger on so that your finances won't suffer for it.
Very true. You know, the Bible talks about your prayers can be hindered also when you're having those kind of issues. So you don't want your prayers to be hindered. Also, you don't want the devil to have an inroad into your finances because you guys are having issues. So the next money mistake that we're going to be talking about is living beyond your means. I can tell you this one that we've experienced it. We've made the mistake of living beyond our means. We've learned from it and we've made certain adjustments. So there was a particular time we moved to a certain place and we felt it was a time to move and we moved. Now, it was a good desire. We stirred up our faith. We went beyond. We moved to a place where the rent was 5 times coming from where we're coming from. And we're excited about it. But one thing we didn't realize that moving to that place meant that every other thing was going to increase. The school fees of the children was going to increase. But now because the school fees in that area was far higher. I'm talking about moving from the mainland to the island in Lagos. Also, we realized that the other aspects like electricity bill skyrocketed. A lot of things skyrocketed. Now, we did not make all those plans. We only made plans that, okay, no way, we can stir up our faith, work hard, and we'll be able to pay the rent the following year. But we didn't realize that there were other things that was going to affect, and it began to choke us. And thank God we know better. Another area that we could have made mistake also was in school fees. So when we moved from Lagos to Abuja, I wanted to put our children in another school, and we realized there was a school that everybody wanted to go to, a lovely school and the rest. But we realized that the school fees of the school was quite high at that point, and we really would know that if we want to stop our faith, we could have put our children in school, but we just told ourselves, no, we're not going to make that mistake again. There are other schools that are not far away from that school, and their standard is also high, and we're going to send our children to the school. And we did, and we're excited looking back that we did. You see, any expenses like your rent or your school fees and everything, that when the bill is coming, is giving you palpitation, your blood pressure is increasing, is meaning that you shouldn't have gone for it in the first place. Think about it. A lot of people are using very good phones today, but some of them, the moment they misplace that phone or it's stolen, they go into depression. Could it be that you went beyond your means, or you're saying, I want to get this car. This is the car I want to get a Benz, or I want to get a brand new car or something like that. You may be able to afford it, but does not mean that that is the level you ought to operate. That was a mistake we made. We could afford the house. We could pay the rent now. At least we didn't borrow. But we realized that, yes, that you could pay it now does not mean it's your level. So anything that will give you heart attack, palpitation is not your own. No. Seriously, check it out. So don't let anybody pressure you. Don't make that mistake of living beyond your means.
So the next money mistake that couples make is refusing to take action, which is you know what you ought to do, but you refuse to do it, whether for reasons of cold feet or uncertainty or procrastination. And this is quite common because some of you have been watching our videos. You have been inspired. You have learned a lot. You've learned some things. And maybe not necessarily our videos. You've been watching videos that have actually been educating you along certain lines, especially when it comes to money, because we're focused on money today. But the question is, what have you done since you have been watching, since you have been listening? So not taking action is as good as you not even learning anything. Sure. It's one thing to get knowledge. It's another thing to work on the knowledge you've gotten. Because it's even the Bible says that it is not the hearer that is blessed. It is the doer. Sure. It is in the doing. It is in the working of those principles. It is in the execution that you enjoy the blessing. So if I did not take action, for instance, to move beyond my comfort zone and begin to look at other ways I can increase my income, I'll probably still have, I still tell myself that I probably will still be in that state of wondering what's happening with my money, with money matter issues. I will probably have even attributed it to other things. Or maybe God doesn't want that level for me and all of that. I would have come up, when you see some people coming up with, certain conclusions, oh God, maybe this is not what God has for me, it's because over the years they have gotten to the point where they are tired. They feel like, oh, if this thing was supposed to be for me, it should have happened since. But what some of them don't realize is that your inaction is the reason why you're where you are. Yeah. Some of you need to take, in fact, this reminds me of the 4 lepers in the Bible. They said, if we stay here, we die. Even if we go, we die. But you know what? We move. That's the thing. We're not going to stay here and starve. We don't know what is at the other side. And the Bible said when they went and they got into the camp of the enemy, guess what? There was no one. I love that part of the scripture. It said there was no one there. So sometimes that thing that is holding you back is just fear. And it is false evidence appearing real. There is really nothing there. When you get there, you'll be shocked. When you get there, you'll be shocked at the opportunities that are waiting for you. So take action as a couple. If it is to start saving from that little, even from the much, sometimes even these savings we're talking about, it's not just because you're not earning enough. Sometimes you're even earning so much, but you are probably having a lot of expenses, or there are things you but there are things you want to buy and you have to buy it because you feel like my income has increased, so I have to get that thing. So start taking those actions. Save, invest, read books, start whatever you need to do so that your income will be better.
Very true, very true. So lastly, in taking action, one mistake that a lot of couples make is not taking risk. Not taking risks. Now you want to take action. So okay, fine, I want to take action, but you're not scared. Make I not go buy land. Make I not come here say government can't revoke the title or they break it and everything. You see, instead of being afraid to take risk, what I would advise you to do, take calculatable risk. Take risk with information. Be informed. Don't just go. They say Moko, go invest. Just go and put your money something and your money goes. No, be informed. Take the risk that you've calculated that, okay, fine, what's the probability of this thing working and not working? But be willing to take risk. Life itself is risky. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, it's a risk you've taken. Something could have happened. You're in a plane, traveling from one place to another place. You didn't go to ask the pilot, please show me your certification. Let me be sure that you can fly this plane. You took a risk. You went to the hospital. You took your bonbon for them to give you injection. You didn't say, nurse, let me be sure that you know the right things. But you did it. Those are risks we take every day. So when it comes to your finances, be willing to take risk. Sometimes be willing to say, you know what, I've done the due diligence. I'm going to buy this land and I'm going to wait and see. I'm doing what I need to do to ensure the land is safe and also that the value of the land will increase over the years. There are areas you can take risk. Please take that risk. Please take that risk. Now, we're going to be stopping here. There's so many other mistakes, but we're going to be stopping here. But I want you to do this. Write on the comment section now, what action are you going to take today as a result of what you've heard? So it will not just be another of those videos you watch and you're excited and you just move on. Write it that, okay, today, after I'm going to start saving, or I will start taking risk, or I would ensure that we deal with unresolved issues immediately, or I would begin to prioritize financial education. I'll begin to read a book. I'll begin to watch financial videos, or I'll begin to, my wife and I will begin to evaluate our money blueprint. Write what you would like to do. And also, if you need to be accountable to someone, look for somebody to be accountable. Tell the person, I want to begin to read a book maybe once a month or something. I want to begin to save or something, but do something with what you've heard. Because if you don't tackle these mistakes, your family your children or even your marriage will suffer for it. I hope you've learned a lot. Please write what you love the most about all we've said today. We'd like to see your comment. Tell us, okay, I love this is what I've loved and everything, or something that you've learned. And feel free to share this video. We believe that a lot of people need to hear this. A lot of people need to know this. If we had known some of the things we know today earlier, we probably would not have been in some marital issues we had in the midst of the 10 years of marriage. So feel free to share this video and tell us what you think about this video. So thank you very much. And don't forget, if you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Click the subscription button and we'll see you in our next video. God bless you and bye for now.